Welcome to Agency Ascend Podcast, where we explore what's shaping the future of independent insurance agencies and the markets they serve. I'm your host, Chad Brummett. Also joining me today from the network is Chris Derlacy, our managing partner, and Jessica McBurney, our regional RVP. We're part of the Coverica Agency Alliance, and today's episode dives into why you should be focusing on commercial risk and how they best work with carrier partners in 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, and we're excited to have our special guest joining us. It's Austin Jordan. He's a crazy, wild man. I got to meet him over IIAD Industries, golf with him. Great guy. So he's the regional sales manager at AmTrust Group. Austin brings years of insights and carrier side as he's worked extensively with independent agencies throughout the region. Without that, man, let's kind of dive in.
Dive right in. I'm grateful to be here.
When you showed up on the scene here in DFW, it was like a complete change and a revamping of AmTrust. I remember when we went over there at Uncle Julio's, and it was like, hey man, we've never had carrier reps, and then you showed up and it was like a complete 180. So kind of give a background as to what got you into the field sales as well as AmTrust transition into that.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I'm grateful to be here and appreciate the kudos because, it's been a long journey with AmTrust. It's been 6 years total. So time flies when you're having fun, I would say, and started as a business generation consultant, handling...
What is that?
Yeah.
Tell us.
We acronym it to BGC, so you don't have to say that long mouthful. But it really is like an assistant to me. So I assisted outside sales managers. They're at their desk. They're handling technical, system issues, things like that, following up on quotes, things that I just can't do when I'm out doing business development, meeting with agents face to face.
Yeah, or the stuff you don't want to do while you're out visiting with agents, meeting them face to face.
There's a lot of that stuff. I started there, did it for 2 years, handled Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Colorado, assisting 2 different RSMs, what we call them. Did that for 2 years. I call it a graduation to an inside sales rep or inside sales manager, which basically is the same thing, but they just give you production responsibilities. So you're responsible for the metrics in your territory region, and I handled upstate New York. So Rochester.
Wow, that is very different.
Yeah, all the fun territories.
What part up there?
It was Rochester, Canandaigua, Syracuse, Buffalo, kind of all that upstate area.
So I lived in upstate New York for a few years. Love it up there. It's gorgeous. Big change from Louisiana for sure.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I mean, the stereotypes too, living in Texas. I mean, I grew up in East Texas and my family moved to Rowlett when I started going to school, and going up to see Rochester one time, it doesn't hit the metrics that you hear growing up. I mean, it's very rural. It's very old. It's got that rustic feel to it. So beautiful countryside.
Yes.
I enjoyed it too. I got up there one time in that role, which was great.
Yeah.
Did that for 2 years, saw the territory that I was managing kind of double the first year and then doubled it again. And my predecessor left AmTrust, went to go pursue an underwriting career at a different company. And I was like, let me throw my name in the hat. Let's see what they think of little old me. And John Crawford, my now boss, who was my original boss when I first got hired, and then Michael Tripp, who's no longer with AmTrust, but took a chance on me.
Well, he's been a strong player in the industry by and large.
Absolutely, huge mentor to me getting going in this role, and they took a chance on me.
By the way, little old me, how tall are you?
I am 6'5". I'm 6'5".
Yeah, 6'5". Yeah, totally little. Yeah.
I haven't looked back, man. It's been such a pleasure working DFW, getting into the field, meeting with agents, trying to help them grow, be strategic, develop, all the fun stuff that goes with building relationships, because that's what this is all about, being in the field with you guys. So
I'm liking the jewelry I'm noticing on your wrist there. I'm seeing a new one that looks like that might have something to do with your kiddo.
It does.
Just recently was brought into this world.
It does. So my wife got it for me, Father's Day gift for the first time. It's got Morgan.
That's cool.
It's got Forrest. It's got a little heart in between them. So
that's cool.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Cool. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're going through the first birthday party setup now. So he's going to get him a cake smash, all that fun stuff. The theme is hole in one, so it'll be a little bit golf themed.
There you go.
We got him a little Tykes car that my wife is in the process of painting to look like a golf cart.
Oh my gosh.
So she's going all out for that little guy. Yeah. But yeah, tons of fun. I look down at my wrist all the time, see his name,
And you're going to be in our
motivation.
golf tournament October 24th. And
Absolutely.
I'm recording it right now on this. So
Absolutely.
With the
no
Little
way-
Tykes hole-in-one.
Yeah,
call.
there you go.
Gosh, I will walk that little thing around the whole time. That'd be great.
That is awesome.
Oh yeah. But no, that's the background at AmTrust, 6 years, been a variety of roles, kind of learned a lot through each one. That BGC role taught me a lot about the processes and the nuances of underwriting. And, I got that responsibility for production and then kind of channeled all of that into being able to get into the field and build relationships. So it's been great.
What are you seeing in the market now, being in the field, specifically in DFW? I mean, it's been, how long have you been in your role now here in
So
the field?
a little over 2 years now.
So you've been kind of on a wild roller coaster ride coming into a hard market. What's that been like?
Absolutely. I think DFW specifically, it's obviously still a pretty tough property market. I think when I came in, it was that terminology of the double, half, double the rate, double the wind hail deductible, half the coverage kind of setup is what a lot of people were experiencing.
And real quick, how would you
Double,
describe that
double
to a
half.
personalized agent? Because
Tough.
it's
Tough. Very, very hard.
Yeah.
And so kind of jumping into it, it was a shocker. I think there was a lot of changes in appetite that carriers were going through. AmTrust wasn't immune to that. And so, I think it's still kind of, some people say the word softening. I wouldn't call it softening. I would say it's kind of leveling out. I think insureds on the commercial side are used to percentage deductibles now. They're used to seeing a little bit of rate here, but it's definitely still needed. I feel like we're still in that leveling out process in DFW. Comp's still soft, which is great. Rates continue to go down.
Yeah, it's
which,
still a very profitable line as well.
absolutely. If the right people are doing it, it's definitely profitable there. So
I'm still waiting for legislation reform in Texas where essentially they're going to require workers' comp. I don't think it'll ever happen. But
I know they mentioned it with contractors.
they've been mentioning it every year and nothing happens.
Yeah, but nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's and the amount of coverage that they're anyway. It's a whole. I can get on a soapbox for it.
Yeah. I would stand on it.
You
proudly
would stand,
with
I know
you.
I'd be right there with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
6 something over there, 6'5" there. Us 5'9" people. We're the ones standing on the soapbox just so we get level with you, okay?
We'll give them the soapbox.
Yeah, there
All
you go.
right.
There you go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
maybe they
There you
can
go.
hold it for us.
Oh, I would.
Like-
I definitely would. Yeah.
So if the property markets are still kind of not softening, right? They're still firm. What advice are you actually giving those agents out there on actually helping them close and get that business written?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's for AmTrust, we do a lot more owner occupied rather than LROs. I think those are still a lot tougher. I think when the owner occupies the building, they usually take better care of it. And so the upkeeps, and it's super important. The construction type is super important. Those are the things that the underwriters are going to look at and look at something favorably, right? And when we look at an owner occupied business for that property, there's also other lines of business that come with it too that kind of help gain some additional premium, give underwriters a little bit more comfortability and confidence to underwrite it and pick it up and it be profitable. So we're looking more at those, I would say, than the LROs at this time.
Okay.
What's your favorite type of risk to kind of go after?
So for me personally,
Axe throwing factories.
yes,
Yeah. No.
that serve alcohol too.
Yes. That's your favorite. That's got to be your favorite.
I really do like the personally, right? This is me. I'll speak on my behalf first. I like the nonprofit side of things. I think AmTrust does a lot of the social and human services well, food banks, homeless shelters, YMCAs, things of that nature. And I really do enjoy going after those with folks.
It's something you're passionate about, giving back to community and getting involved in community with like the YMCA. I mean, that was, I don't know about you, that was pivotal for me growing up as a kid because I went to a YMCA camp.
Yeah.
So programs like that are huge, and I think they're kind of overlooked nowadays. So you enjoy literally going out trying to figure out how do we assess this risk to take care of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And just meeting with those agencies that we know kind of have that niche and that specialization in that industry type and the nonprofits. I love working with those folks. I think it's a market that needs as much help as folks are willing to give, churches included. So, I mean, personally, I do hold a special place in my heart for them. But AmTrust specifically, I mean, we're at our core, we're small business focused.
Yeah.
Work comp being the front runner of what we do, third largest writer of work comp in the U.S.
In the U.S., yeah.
Wow.
I would say we have a decent book of work.
You kind of know what you're doing,
Yeah. And, we're quickly approaching number 2, and we really do want to take that on. But at its core, we're small business as well. So I do also have a, special place in my heart for small business. The doctors, the dentists, the bakeries, the flower shops. Absolutely. The restaurants, those small artists and contractors that are branching out and starting something on their own for the first time and really trying to build something for themselves. Love seeing that. AmTrust handles it extremely well. It's really what we're built on outside of work comp is that BOP business and kind of rounding out solutions, giving them all lines, cyber included.
Yeah, and then what I also heard was industry agnostic, right? I mean, professional services, contractors, just kind of across the board. That has to put y'all in a very unique position in the market when we see other carriers that kind of really get niched into certain appetites, right?
I think you can pigeonhole yourselves as a carrier in 2 ways, one being product specific or one being industry specific. So, an AmTrust contract does have a lot of value for that reason. We're not industry specific. We're not product specific. We really do target a wide breadth of things. So when you look at a suite of products
you're
at AmTrust.
coverage specific. You're saying, hey, this is the type of coverage we're going to offer.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. When agencies pick up an AmTrust contract, I feel like sometimes I go in there and I can talk for 45, 50 minutes or an hour about all the things that we're doing, being products or industry types or the fun incentives that we have to go along with writing business with us. There's a lot of franchise value in that contract. And then there's just obviously the value of what you can pursue to place with us.
Absolutely. So if you're talking to an agent that's predominantly personal lines, right, and they want to get over into that commercial world, what's your advice, especially knowing that you started in the field and grew your way through it, right? What's your advice to help those guys, or what's the most successful? Besides start now, right?
Besides start now, yeah.
Because that's a completely different cycle, right?
Absolutely.
Mindset. So what are some of those best practices that you've picked up along the way for those people that are wanting to get into that space?
Yeah, I'd say lean on your business development folks, right? Let them help you, let them guide you. Keep your business cards in your pocket. Whenever you go into a store, you go into a restaurant, make sure you know that it's okay to talk about a little insurance. I know it might be something that most people don't like to talk about, but
they need to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is an opportunity.
Surprisingly, and I think one of our prior guests, Deanna and Ron Crenshaw, they're excellent. They'll go out to the restaurant and they love the restaurant. If they love the restaurant, they're there all the time, and they end up developing a relationship with some of the staff. It's just like, we love this place. It's excellent. And then inevitably, if the owner's there, they'll come out, introduce themselves, and then they're just talking. They're like, what do you do? Oh, we're in insurance, but we just love this place. And they're like, hey, I have a question about my coverage. Can I? Absolutely. It's pure relationship. And they're not, it's not forced. It's a true, hey, this is part of my community. It's my backyard. You guys are awesome. Let's talk.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Austin, do you feel like when you work with agents, you spend more time working with them on business development, on profitability, on like paring down what they're putting in submissions? What do you feel like the bulk of your time is spent doing to turn the dial?
That's a good question.
Or is it a unique?
I'm sure it's a combination, but
it's more agency specific. I think there's some agencies that really have unique strengths that, I would say the bulk of my time is spent prospecting and profiling. So figuring out who people are and how their office ticks. Because once I figure that out, then I'm filling in the gaps on what is my time best served for you? Is it pipeline? Is it looking at pipeline and helping craft the submission a little bit better? Is it, okay, you're sending us a bunch of stuff that I'm not telling you we're going to write. So maybe let's look at, right. And so maybe we need to help kind of just talk about what it is that we're going to have success with. Or is it, hey, we've got a book of business, we're established, the operation seems to be running smooth. Let's come in and talk production. Let's look through claims and see if we can get some additional touch points on current business we have. So it's really agency specific. I'd say it's pretty equal, but it does depend on the agency.
How do you profile an agency? Tell us what that has my wheels turning because,
yeah,
my little looking for new agents. I feel like I do my own version of that, but I'm really interested to see your tactics.
Yeah. So, it's a ton of questions.
Well, as one regional to another.
Yes. Absolutely. Michael Tripp actually spurred the kind of the formal agency profiling for us. It was very important. And so he kind of crafted the whole plan of, asking these questions that are, how many employees do you have? And
well, case in point, even when you were talking about working with agencies, like you guys back in the day had your book of business, you had no idea if the agency that you were calling on, if they were 15 million in revenue or 100,000 in revenue.
Absolutely. To know who you're talking to is what it builds. So it's how big they are, right? Like, what is your total commercial lines premium? What's the split between commercial and personal lines? But also,
do you have an office?
Where are you located? What's your cadence for in-office employees? And then I think the big one that I get a lot of, kind of insight on or insight from is really how big we are to them. So, hey, who are your top 5 relationships?
Yeah.
And I think that one speaks volumes, especially for a new appointment for me. If I go in and talk with a new prospect and say, hey, who are your top 5? Who do you really like right now? And they say Hartford, Hanover, and they kind of run down the list of national admitted carriers. I'm like, well, our appetite mirrors them pretty well.
We're in that bucket. There we go.
Absolutely. So I think there's a lot of business that we can help on. Let's hold each other accountable and let's go after it. So it's a lot of those questions. Who are your top markets? Who are your top industry classes? If they're telling us that we're, hey, we target oil and gas, we're targeting these things that I know, I'm just like, okay, well, you're not a bad agency. Obviously, you have 15 million in premium, but none of that is what we can help you with. So let's look elsewhere, right? You don't need to look to AmTrust for an appointment, and kind of having to bridge some of those gaps. So that does take a good portion of my time. But then once you get to know somebody, I think it helps you approach the conversation with a little bit more clarity, what to ask after that. Like, hey, let's look at some of this business that you have with so-and-so, or hey, let's look at some of this business in these industry buckets.
Yeah.
See where we can help.
Well, it's even when you look at an agent that is, let's say, stepping into the commercial space and they are quoting and they're running into clients that are insured with AmTrust. If you're seeing that on your radar, if you use a commercial radar or if you go direct and you're seeing that a lot of the prospects that you're going after have AmTrust on it, it's a good opportunity to reach out to AmTrust and say, hey, I'm hitting a lot of the business that you guys are on. Would love to talk and see if there's an opportunity or synergy here that, I could represent you as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you see it a bunch. It's like, hey, you're already targeting that sweet spot.
Yeah.
At what point do you think for an agency they have a premium size that constitutes them looking at y'all for a direct appointment? And I know, obviously, the industry's
got negotiated ones, but
and so we should talk about that too. But in general, right? Obviously, if you're a partner carrier with us, you have a lower threshold to maintaining your code.
Yeah.
Come be a member. But, I think that for agencies, right, Chad brought up a good point about a personal lines agency that's getting into commercial. We see this a lot. Right. And they're coming to us and they're going, hey, we're looking to y'all. How do I get started in these buckets? And I feel like there's kind of this sweet spot. And I don't know if there's a number to you where it's like, hey, this agency now has about $500,000 in premium. Maybe they're writing those BOPs or writing in those buckets that you're looking for. Yeah. At that point, does that constitute, hey, we think that they've got enough volume where this could be a successful relationship for them to get a direct appointment? Is there a premium number you think they need to be in commercial as a whole? For those smaller agencies, right? If we're talking about the larger ones, yeah. But what do you think is that point where it's like, hey, you got enough flow where this could really make sense for us to grow?
I think flow is the biggest point. I mean, of course, we want premium, right? But I think flow, like submission flow, is even more important because without submissions, there is no premium.
Absolutely.
So if they do have a flow of opportunities, I think that's always something to look at. But at the same time, there are levels to it. And I like to try to give folks that path to profit sharing. Let's talk about that path to profit sharing. I know for y'all, we've got unique agreements, but outside, let's say just a standard independent retail agent is $250,000 in premium. I would say, hey, 12 to 24 months, let's try to work to 250. I think it's a good metric to hit, for us as two organizations together. So, I mean, first year, 100K, 75K. I think somewhere in that clip is.
But you don't want it to just get to that 250 and then flat line. You're wanting it continuous
flow.
Growth.
Absolutely. And that's why that flow is.
Flow.
And you'll see what's more important to me when I look at an agency is that commitment to chase, commitment to go after it. And if they're expressing that desire, that goes a long way with me. I've taken some chances on folks that are new to commercial, trying to help them develop that book. And
how's that gone?
I think it's hit or miss. Some people will.
Sometimes it's timing.
What's the deciding factor between hit and miss?
I mean, you can profile an agency, and if you're going off of like a desire that they're going to go chase, sometimes people will, and to Chris's point, it could be timing, right? There's things that have come up in their life where they can't go out and really sell. I know that they want to, but things do come up. So, I mean, kind of want to give folks benefit of the doubt, give folks a little bit of time to let things simmer because it is a long-term game. Yeah. It's not like oh, well, after a year, you haven't really done much, we're going to terminate your contract, or even 2 years. It's really, okay, let's continue to have conversations. Let's continue to try to push you to chase this and find ways to win.
I think it's also important to note that the carriers, when they put on a code, I mean, there's expenses on their side that they're incurring to maintain that. And that's why, like, within our member base and anybody I'm talking to, I'm recommending, hey, if you bring on another contract, ideally a minimum, you're placing $75,000 in production per that relationship per year, just to stay in the running, right? I mean, there's tons of opportunities and other things you can do, but as long as you're maintaining that, that's sufficient growth as far as the relationship, and they like to see that time and time again.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll take a consistent 75 over an agency that's 1 year up, 1 year
100,000 1 year, zero the next.
Right.
Yeah,
I'd rather say consistency is key for sure. Yeah.
So if we kind of shift back to one of the things that Jessica mentioned was, what role do the networks play in actually helping the carriers scale? And kind of like what's the value that the network actually brings to y'all? Because I'm sure it's a very different look than going after those independent retail carrier agents, right?
Absolutely. You guys are additional boots on the ground for us. You know, major national partnership with a lot of premium behind it, especially SIAA as a whole. When we're talking, there's a lot of synergy between us as organizations on a national level because there's so much of the same focus on small business. And so you guys might have connections to agencies that we just don't really know about. Maybe they're new to commercial, or maybe they're not new to commercial and they haven't hit our radar yet. So, I mean, I was just talking to Chris. Yeah. I mean, Mindy literally just sent me an email with, hey, I think this agency would be a great appointment for AmTrust. And so having you guys with an understanding of who we are, approaching agencies that I might not have the time to go approach. Maybe they're in a spot I don't really get to. Maybe they just haven't hit my radar yet. And so having you guys boots on the ground to funnel it to me and say, yes, this is a great appointment. Let's move forward. Let's start working. Or, you know, to that profiling point, maybe this one isn't right yet, or they just they're not the right fit for the business they chase. The networks are a big role in what we do.
Yeah, well, and obviously, you know, we do the national meetings where we get with AmTrust national counterparts. But I think a lot of how those conversation goes is within our national teams over there going like, okay, what are your growth requirements for AmTrust nationwide? Like, what do you want to be at? And they'll say, oh, we want to grow X amount of billion. And that's where SIA steps in and says, well, we're going to take 25% of that growth for you guys. And we're going to become your distribution model. And then that travels down to all of us locally and be like, okay, how do we do that? Do we do it in this side? What rural area do we want to really kind of grow that? And then we strategically go after that. And so when an agent is off on its own, they're usually not involved in a lot of that. And so them getting involved in a network, even if it's not us, is going to tie them into that type of synergy a lot quicker.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It creates that visibility in that way in. Right.
Yeah. I mean, y'all carry the flag for us in a way, which is super powerful. You know, I think it adds a lot of the validation to when we step in too. And they've already heard a little bit about who we are. They have a general understanding of who we are.
They're also just not avoiding you. It's like you're sending out emails and mail. So we don't know those people. We're coming and say, hey, they're good guys. Like, you need to talk to them.
Absolutely.
Well, it's like your point, too. There's one of you, right? There's how many agents in DFW Metro?
Just for us? Yeah, we have 98. I mean,
there's a lot.
There's thousands.
I think there's 5,500 insurance agencies in DFW.
When we just talked about it, DFW as a whole can account for more production than a state.
Yes.
Yeah.
As two metropolitan
and
areas.
We're growing.
Yes. And there's more.
Rapidly. Yeah.
There's more. Yeah.
We're a unique market
absolutely.
with a lot of people stepping around.
Well, and with that type of growth, that type of size, how has that changed your role in the last couple of years, right? Because like you just said, our market is larger than some states.
Yeah.
So you have counterparts with a state
Right.
for a region.
Or 3 states.
Multiple,
Or multiple states, right?
You got DFW.
Yeah.
So how does your role evolve, and how do you manage that type of growth, that type of volume from your level at that carrier role, right?
I mean, I would say the first thing is massive goals, right? There's massive goals attributed to DFW because of the opportunity. I think everybody sees it. The second thing for me, being with sports background and just constantly having that kind of in the back of my mind, is I lean on my teammates, So for me to manage all of this stuff, I mean, to Jessica's point, I'm only one person and I can be where I'm at. And I really do try to do my best to be where my feet are. I think that plays a huge role in business development, right? If I'm in a meeting and I'm checking my phone and trying to multitask, it just doesn't do any good. So
I think that's a fantastic point.
yeah, leaning on my teammates, right? Especially underwriters. I wouldn't be where I sit right now if I didn't have stellar relationships with my underwriters. And I want my agents to have that same kind of feeling and that inclination to pursue, because if you don't have a good relationship with your underwriter, I mean, they kind of
Dictate.
sign your paychecks a little bit,
Make or break you.
You don't.
Right.
You don't.
They're all
piss
clapping
off.
in a department somewhere at the computer. saying,
Well, they have
"Thank you."
memories like elephants. It's hard to
Detail,
replace them.
detail.
You don't piss them off.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
even pursuant to that, what are some of the common mistakes that you see, like an agency who gets that plan? Like, what are you seeing them do that's just kill? Other than cussing out an underwriter, obviously, where that's off limits.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would say square peg round hole is always the, they're trying to fit something that doesn't fit.
So you're telling me I can't keep submitting that Axe Factory to underwriting?
Yeah.
Eventually he'll accept it, right?
Yeah. Eventually appetite will turn and they'll be super profitable. No, we would write cyber for axe throwing.
Oh, there you go.
So we can do that.
They take credit cards. It's okay.
Absolutely. They house employee information and data, so they need to protect that. But yeah, it's square peg round hole, and it's always been that way. And even if it's on the fringe, I think other than that, it could be not thinking that what an underwriter is asking for is for good reason.
Yeah.
So if any producer or agent out there gets a request for additional info, they're just like,
They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I already know. I gave
why do
you
they
all the
need this?
information.
Why do they need this? Here's
That negative mindset.
So, all right. So we'll flip the script a little. So something you mentioned earlier was that ability to stay present because of your team, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's something that, whether it's insurance, anybody in any type of customer-facing role, that's something in this day and age we've just kind of seen go to the wayside. That ability to just stay present, not have your phone going, right? What's a couple other tricks that you've seen that have either helped you or helped those new agencies stepping into that commercial world really excel, that maybe kind of go back to just basic 101 that we all tend to forget about?
Yeah. I mean, I go back to a lot of cliche sayings because it's football. It's what I grew up doing. It's the be where your feet are is one of the main ones that I kind of rely on. We always had a saying that we would kind of ask guys. We would ask them, are you here or are you there? That was a big question, just to kind of in the moment kind of check how present are you?
Yeah.
Hey, are you here or are you there? Like, what are you looking at? Are you there or are you here? So I try to kind of run those through my head. I think those are the biggest and best ways to, because it's a moment thing. It's something you can't really work on it unless you're out in the field. It's not something you can practice at home. I mean, you can definitely practice it with your new fiance.
Oh, yeah.
You can do it with your family.
Congratulations.
Being present in those moments.
I'm usually not on my phone, although when you asked that, I was looking up something on my phone. So I was like, oh, man.
Thank you for admitting that. We appreciate it. Your
It's on camera.
transparency.
That's why I was looking directly at you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
he said, be present, be where your feet are.
Yeah. He was looking up bad underwriter submissions.
Horror stories. Like,
Yeah.
see if I can put that back in there.
I think that's really good insight, though, and I'm glad that you came back around to that point, though, Chad, because that is a really actually basic, phenomenal part of business development and relationship building, and I think we forget it so often is, hey, are you making eye contact? Are you actually listening to what somebody's saying?
Are you calling your underwriter while eating a sandwich and going asking about submissions? That happens a lot.
Absolutely. Just mid-chew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the practice comes from doing it with, and this is kind of a realization for me just now. I mean, doing it with family and friends is the best way to practice it out in the field. Because you really can't, there's no better way to practice doing it in the professional setting rather than just doing it. And so practicing with friends and family, right? Get off your phone when you're hanging out with your friends. Be present when you're with your family.
Well, yeah, because skills don't evolve in vacuums, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Skills don't evolve in vacuums. That's another good one.
Like that.
That's a good
but
one-liner right
Is
there,
that going to
Chad.
be your title?
No,
Yes.
be where your feet are. That. I had to write that down. That's
I
awesome.
love that.
I love that.
It runs through my head constantly. It's really important. Yeah.
I do have to go back full circle again.
Yeah.
We won't go the horror story route quite as bad as what Chris was wanting us to go, but what are our,
stories?
like, top 2 like legit honest mistakes that people coming in make that you're like, ooh, I wish somebody would have told you this ahead of time, right? What's sort of 1 or 2 things that are just avoiders?
I would say, I say a big one for me is assuming what people's jobs are. Like for underwriters and an agent, let's say they send a submission in and an underwriter's like, hey, we need you to log this online. And that agent or producer's like, it's not my job. I sent you the submission. Go ahead and tell me if you need anything else. Just send me the quote. So that assumption that underwriters or whoever, whatever role you're assuming is,
They work for you or something like that. It's their job to make sure that business gets across the desk and they don't have 100 other submissions
Right.
sitting there.
or 100 other fully rated submissions on super preferred business that folks like me are really going in and saying, hey, we need this. Let's ask for dentists, doctors, lawyers, bakeries. And we've got agencies that are getting their submission shuffled up to the top of the stack because they're willing to go in. They're willing to enter
They're not
data.
asserting an ego.
And they
Yeah.
provide all the information.
Right. So, I think assumptions makes it tough. So if you're going to assume what somebody's job is,
But Austin, don't you know who I am?
right? Yeah.
It's like, I'm still not writing it.
Yeah,
Still
right.
not going to help you bind that one.
Yep.
And one of the things we see in the network, though, is also you talk about completeness of it, right? So, sometimes those accord forms just scare the crap out of the agents,
Yeah.
right?
It's overwhelming amount of information that they have to go get. And they
And
only
not
get
all
so
of the
much time
form
with the
needs to
prospect.
be filled out, and they
Yeah.
don't know which portion needs it and what doesn't.
There's so many lines and so many boxes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So many.
So many words that also
Yeah.
mean other things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
in all fairness, right? If I'm a new commercial person, I think I've submitted a complete package,
Yeah.
right?
Join a network that will help review that accord form with
Yep.
you and help
Man.
you submit that.
It's like
Yeah.
T-ball today.
So that Austin's team
Ideally,
can
look for
just
ones that
bind
have
it.
certified risk managers.
That they just love all the
available.
submissions.
Yeah. Well, and I think the cool part about getting into small commercial, because that's what you would want to do. If you're really working your way into commercial, let's start with the one owner-occupied donut shop. Let's start with the one location, one building type of risk. And those are the ones that now you look at national admitted carriers, especially AmTrust, we're trying to automate and make it as easy as possible for
Yeah.
agents so they can actually have binding authority online. So much so to the point that they could take their iPad or laptop into the dentist office and, hey, let's go through this in 6 minutes. And at the end of it, we'll have a quote
Wow,
for you.
that's really cool. Bring in your
awesome.
iPad, 6 minutes, you will get an AmTrust quote.
Get an AmTrust quote.
Yes.
And we've seen people do it with certain really preferred classes where it's under $5,000 in total premium or under $6,000 in premium. It's a targeted preferred class. So
You guys are just going to come in and
yeah, there's no need for an accord.
great. Yeah.
We're going through the accord as we
Right.
fill out the rater,
Yeah.
right? And you can fill out documents on the back end if you'd like, make you feel
Yeah.
warm and fuzzy. But we're not going to require it as a carrier for you to send in a paper submission and go through that rigmarole.
I don't remember who said it though. It's just like, what's the difference between a small commercial account and a middle market? I think, and I can't remember who said it, but it's like a little bit or a couple more lines.
Oh,
That's,
yeah.
that's all it is. And you're just like, start off on the small commercial because you can learn and grow into it.
Absolutely. The difference is, this isn't a one location dentist. It's a 40,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's private equity owned. And so
Yeah.
there's 40 different buildings, 40 different
Everything
locations.
else on that form just stays the same.
Exact same. Yep.
And so then it's getting to know that niche. Pick
Yeah.
that niche that you want. Start there, right?
Absolutely.
And then just grow it.
Run at it like your hair's on fire.
Yeah.
Pick it up. That's the best way to learn. You're going to fail, we all fail. So
We all start our toe
fail
along the way, right?
forward. right?
absolutely. Fail
Yeah.
towards something
Well,
big. Fail
and-
towards something meaningful.
And we talk about obviously the mom and pop shops, but some of it's, who do you have that's a family friend that works in that industry? And that way you can kind of learn from them, say, hey, what are your particular needs? Help me understand your coverage, because I'm interested in that class of going after it. Then you have a confidant that can sit there and go, hey, this is what, and quite frankly, if they decide to get out of that industry, now you got a potential prospect for a new producer in your agency because they know that business better than anybody.
True.
And they have the relationships. You can leverage it.
Yeah.
Keep those business cards in your pocket.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Wise words. Can I ask a wild question? Where are we
No,
at?
you're not allowed to ask a wild question.
Yes.
Yes, you can ask a wild question.
You introduced him as a wild man, which I think
He's
is
a
one
wild
of the most
man.
interesting introductions we've gotten on this
Okay,
show
well,
yet.
okay,
So
can
I
I-
had to just continue
If
that.
I can preface it, when we were golfing and we were talking about getting, what was it? I called them the JC Water Walkers, but it was the golf shoes with
The Jerusalem Cruisers.
The Jerusalem it's flip flops with
spikes.
With spikes.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
They're great.
I
And
still
you
want a
guys,
pair.
There's
you guys
a lot
are
of-
both wearing them to the golf tournament on October 24th.
I will bring my pair.
But amazing. Oh, you already own?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I golf in them all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny.
When I first got into golf, I was looking at golf shoes and I was like, wow, these are really expensive.
Yes.
$100, $150.
So let me just find half the shoe.
I parked off on the sandal side of it and was like, wow, these are like $80. I was like, perfect. So
we need to
So now
grow
what-
Austin some more business.
What's your wild question? Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, stay tuned for that one too. What I was going to ask was, where do you see the company that you work for and the industry going with the presence of AI coming on the scene?
oh man, I love it. So our CEO, Barry Ziskin, we're the largest private insurance company in the U.S. So we're
Private insurance company. There we go.
commercial only too.
Yeah. I
And
don't
so
think I knew
it's
that you guys were the largest private.
super flat organization. I always call us, we have a huge national presence, but we have a more of a regional feel. So we've got boots on the ground. We're able to get
Sandals on the ground.
Exactly. Yes. So our CEO has always said, we're a technology company that sells insurance, and it's what we've had to be because we've had to be scrappy with work comp. We've had to be scrappy with small business, and in order to do that, you have to make it extremely easy.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's path of least resistance, right? That's what the agents are going to take. I mean, we're all creatures of habit, and so getting somebody to break a habit, you got to present them something really good and really easy to get done. And so we've embraced AI. We just rolled out AmTrust Genius, which I think is super cool. It's basically on our website, drag and drop a work comp deck page, a cord, or policy, and it will build you a work comp quote just based on drag and dropping that file.
Wow, that's
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's really
You
cool.
you still want to click through it, make
Takes
sure
out
everything's
those, forms, clunky forms.
absolutely.
And if I would add on that, because one of the things that we often overlook as far as getting into the commercial space, most senior commercial producers go directly to the carrier. They know exactly what appetite to go after. They know exactly who's going to write it. They usually know that before they place it. As a new person, I mean, tools like what AmTrust is developing is monumental, and it's a game changer for somebody who's looking to get into
great
that
point.
because you
Yeah.
take a lot of that questions and streamline it for them.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, they're looking at a commercial comparative rater, which is semi-limited. It only has so many classes. With you, they can go directly and put that information in and get something.
I mean, I think the APIs for commercial BOP and package business has a long way to go. Work comp, it's seemingly figured out, right?
Yeah.
For that, it's pretty straightforward, cut and dry. But we want to build the tech in-house to be able to simulate that feel, but with a little bit more oomph on it, right?
Yep.
Binding authority, So with AmTrust Genius, I mean, we've had the ability for, if you have a preferred class, like a work comp for, let's say a bakery, right? And you go in there and you do the work comp quote online. Now you could just drag and drop a deck page in there and it'll build it. Well, we've had the ability for a BOP quote to automatically populate as well. It's called our Pebble program. So it'll just drop a BOP quote right in there to go along with it based on AI and the information we pull from the address and the building, kind of pulling sales based off payroll. Still want to go through and verify things, but just to Chris's point, that ease of use being at the
that's awesome.
forefront.
Yeah.
Same thing with cyber. Anytime you have a BOP or a work comp quote that you go through and complete, cyber quote will automatically populate with it as well. So we've taken a lot of pride in embracing AI and embracing technology. And I think it fits our model, being so small business focused, that we've really done a great job adopting it and implementing it across the board. with more to come. I think we want to be able to make sure you can drop a BOP deck page and let's build a BOP quote with AI.
Awesome.
So more to come, but
Very
it's
cool.
exciting.
But it sounds like it's not pushing out the agent. It's not saying, hey, this is a replacement, and saying we need you bringing us the right information, the right data so that we can build from there. Because I know there's a lot of concerns, right? As people are saying the agent's getting cut out, right? But it sounds like really it's a tool that if you're an agency owner and you're using it the right way, it's going to set you so far above the competition when you partner with your carriers, when you look at those resources, and it's going to help scale your business faster.
Absolutely. Ease of use. And we, AmTrust, the agent model will never go away for the commercial side. It's too complex. So many people have tried it and it's failed direct to consumer, with the insurance tech of the world.
I don't remember who said it, but it was essentially like nobody is ever going to be confident and comfortable with going online quoting their own insurance because there's so much that you leave unknown that you need an agent that has lived in that policy that understands all that. And then also who you're going to hold accountable in the event of a claim.
Exactly.
It's going to be that AI.
Right.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Did you say Chad GPT?
Chad GPT.
I know come to me for all the answers,
did.
but really?
Blaming you. I'm calling you when I put in a claim.
Absolutely.
But really like, so the AI, just like in any other industry, take manufacturing 60 years ago, automation is going to replace the workers. It changes the type of work.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
doesn't replace the workers. It just changes the type.
Human
right?
capital,
Absolutely.
communications.
Yeah.
I think that's the monetary force for the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for the future, this is where we're going to put you on the spot a little bit. So,
love it.
what is the industry for our metro area? Again, Chris, metro.
Metro.
For the next 12 to 18 months, what does the crystal ball show for you?
Predict the weather. No. No.
Right.
What is the show?
This may be just as accurate as a weather, as a weather
Right.
prediction, right?
I'm hoping for way less hail.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get that. I think we're still gonna find some of that.
No more flooding. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be great.
But no, what's coming down the pipeline? You mentioned other stuff, AI, and kind of what are y'all seeing as an industry, right?
Yeah.
Continuing to maybe actually hit a soft market.
I don't know. I think certain lines will soften, right? I think that's a lot easier to kind of not predict, but see.
Yeah.
Right? Work comp will continue to soften. I don't think the other lines will. I think they'll continue to just level out. As I like to tell agents, this is kind of the new normal. Here's what to expect from carriers across the board. Other than that, I would say it's going to be a lot of mergers and acquisitions. I think a lot you're going to see a lot more M&A activity, small agencies getting approached by large groups or large agencies approaching other large agencies. I mean, we've seen some really big acquisitions here from the top dogs trying to kind of combine forces and leverage their premium. So as they, talk and communicate with carriers, they have a lot more leverage in that premium.
Yeah, can you expand on that for
Yeah.
less listeners? I mean, you referenced really large agencies merging together, right? So they're avoiding the private equity realms that are coming for them crazily, and they're joining forces to become even stronger when in comparison to the 60% of agencies that are under 250,000 in
most of them
revenue.
stable.
These guys are the top 2%, I'm guessing, top
Right.
3%.
I mean, the biggest one was
Yeah.
MMA and McGriff. I mean, that was massive.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely massive acquisition. The other one I still think it's kind of going through the approval process was Assured Partners and Gallagher.
Yeah.
Another massive one. That I don't think that was the cadence for M&A activity up until recently.
Yeah.
I think it was definitely let's go approach this small agency with 250 in revenue and buy them. Maybe it's one agency with a seemingly independent agency with 5 million in revenue buying an agency that's maybe looking to retire and they've got maybe closer to 500K in revenue.
Much smaller scale.
Well, because I also
Absolutely.
think even on the agency side, we got several. The 250 is really a singular owned agency in most cases. Your 5 million, that's when you start to see it gets rarer and rarer to have a singular owner.
Yeah.
And so the M&A side gets more and more complex when you have more and more people at the table. But I mean, you're talking about some massive companies.
Huge.
I mean, I don't even know how the diligence on those types of deals.
There's departments.
Yeah. They're still working on it 5 years after the merger happened.
Oh yeah.
And what's the ripple effects for those smaller agencies as those transactions continue to happen, right?
Continue to leverage relationships. I mean, definitely lean on your carrier reps and building relationships with your underwriters. I think that's always going to be more important than treating this transactionally, which I think sometimes small business gets looked at like, especially when the numbers become so large. So definitely, if you're small, it's okay, you know.
Actually, in some cases, it's prefer. I mean, I was talking with one of our members, Chuck Masterson, used to actually be a producer here. He was talking about stepping in commercial because I think he's actually writing with you guys.
Yeah.
And he was saying, "Man, I'm going up against these big shops, and it's hard, and it's all this." And I said, "Chuck, don't forget." And I learned this from Mike, my dad, rather. I goes, "Don't forget, you're the owner. When you go to a customer, you say, 'Hey, would you like to deal with the owner of the agency that actually knows your name, or do you want to deal with 1-800 number insert person here?'"
And that's the
greatest strength.
Yes, that's the best strength a small agency has. Right?
Absolutely.
Because you're nimble, you can make decisions, and at the end of the day, it's that relationship, right?
Yep.
Because odds are my kids are playing soccer with your kids.
Yeah.
I'm going to see you at church.
Absolutely.
All those
things. And then
things
when
happen,
you join
right?
the network side, you have the same competitive offering as a Gallagher, as these big shops. And so you can be that, you can get the strengths of both worlds.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
You're going to go into a service center model type thing, being even 150K. I think everybody's term of small business is
Different.
evolving. Hey, our minimum revenue threshold's, 10,000 or 15,000, and everything under that, we don't even go after it. And so if they have business that falls into those buckets, it's going into a service team.
Yeah.
It's not getting the look and the touch and the feel that an owner can give it, or a smaller team that can really dedicate the time to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Austin, thanks so much for your time. Before we wrap up, we have, a ritual that we like going through, and that's we like to ask our guest, what's a recent book, article, quote, could even be cheesy movie quote if you'd like.
I love it.
But what's something that you've read or seen recently that's made an impact on you?
I did not I didn't prepare him for this, FYI.
Oh,
so
even
this
better.
is right off the cuff. I failed at that.
I mean, Chris mentioned I'm a new dad, and there's a book called Strong Heart. That is definitely something that I've really enjoyed reading. It's just how to raise kids to be resilient, and it's definitely taught me a lot. I think one of the biggest things I take away from it is treasures versus trinkets. So it kind of goes into, what is a trinket? If we go to the store and you expect a lollipop every single time we go, you're not going to treasure that lollipop.
Yeah.
It's a trinket. And so that's just one of the aspects that it kind of goes to. But I love that book. It's called Strong Heart. It's per Michael Tripp was the recommendation, ironically enough. So he'd love that I threw that one out there. But that's definitely one. It's made a profound impact on me and how I look at raising my son and future kids, God willing. So, yeah, I love that book.
Speaking of what we were talking about, living in the present, while we were talking about that, I was looking this up because I thought this was super valuable. But Matthew 6:34, which says, "Therefore, do not be worried about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough troubles of its own." Remembering to be present, even like with your kids, with your families, with work, be present in what it is that you're currently doing. And that's just a good, I think, verse or kind of mentality to work to constantly push forward on.
Yeah. I love that. Amen to that.
As well as I think my fiance would be less upset with me if I was paying attention to her when we were eating and all that stuff.
What was that?
Yeah.
I do actually. I'm not saying
verse.
nothing. I'm going to get in trouble.
I love that though.
Jeez. Man, now you guys are taking me on a different tangent. My brain was going to I was going to say one thing. Okay, I'm just going to go with what I was going to say. But it brought up a Mother Teresa. Now I'm going this route. All right. It brought up a Mother Teresa quote. Now I got to look at my phone and pull it up, which I was avoiding.
Yeah.
But there's a quote by Mother Teresa that I wrote down in college, and it talks about prayer. But essentially, it is basically talking about prayer and how when you pray, you think that you're asking for things. You ask for food, you ask for wealth, you ask for this laundry list of things, essentially. But she says, prayer changes, like I pray for something and prayer changes people. So essentially, the act of doing this continues to bring you back to the point where it's not about gaining something, it's actually about changing you in the process to form something new. And I know that actually seems like it's unaligned, but in a lot of what we've talked about today, where we've really had this theme of talking about being present, and in order to scale your business, in order to build proper relationships, in order to foster parenting or new relationships in marriages, right? There's all these basic things that go back to being present, caring about those people. But I think that, we also agree that it's also about development and changing yourself along the way. So
absolutely.
That's where it went.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And for me, so I recently joined a book club with a group of guys.
Really?
Yes.
A book club?
Guys can have book clubs too. Okay, Jessica.
No, I want to be in a book club, but he said it's guys only. So, okay.
How rude.
Do they have bourbon too?
Starting my own, ladies.
Yes.
We'll have bourbon too.
The words are moving.
Yes. And that's the reason why she was surprised. Like, you can read?
Oh, wow.
So, but
Chad GPT.
So you joined? Chat GPT.
So I joined the book club. Now, so the first book was The Four Agreements. I'll tell you, it was a struggle bus at first. That first chapter, it's about black magic and this, and I'm like, all right, so this is
very different.
This is so not like, I prefer to read the Bible.
Yeah.
not this.
Yeah.
But when I kind of I stopped and reset, and when I actually got back down to it, the four agreements are: be impeccable with your word, don't take things personally, don't assume things, and do your best. Right? And then when you kind of break it down and you actually see some parallels, you're like, all right, so they ripped off most things from the Bible. So we'll give credit where credit's due. But really, it was really cool to get different perspective. And when we kind of break it down, what we do, like I said, don't assume things about the carrier.
Or the underwriter.
Or the underwriter.
The role,
right?
yeah.
Do your best. Be impeccable with your words. That means show up every day,
Yeah.
right?
Do what you say you're going to do.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And when things fail, because they will fail, don't take it personally, right?
Yeah.
Just learn and move on.
Absolutely.
So yes, that was.
It's like a Ted Lassoism, right? Memory of a goldfish.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Ted Lasso, another strong reference.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love that, Chad.
Well, thanks again, Austin. Definitely appreciate your time for joining us. And for more insights and episodes, subscribe to the Agency Ascend podcast, powered by the Coverica Agency Alliance. Until next time, onward and upward, keep climbing.